Hello, welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cooper, and today we're joined by three guests this time. We've had two in the past few episodes, but I'm delighted to say we're joined by a familiar face on the podcast. We're joined by Tom Parker. Tom, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Would have liked to come back on the podcast in happier circumstances, but I'm just happy to be back.
That's good, mate. And then we'll start with the main man, Finn Morris. How you doing?
Yeah. I always get it on the depressing weeks. Can I have a main man when we win?
I've got to keep you happy, mate. I've got to balance his key. I've got to find that equilibrium between you and Dave. Everyone knows Dave is the big dog.
He's the real main man. Let's be honest.
I've got to tickle you back now and then. How you doing, mate? Okay.
I'm the main man of depressing losses away from home. Yeah, I'm all right.
Who's verified though?
Say again.
Who's verified though? That's the question.
Let's not go on to that. I'll give you a blue tick to anyone these days. And of course, we're joined by Dave. Dave, how's it going, mate?
Very well, thank you, lads. Good to be back on.
It is. I'm sorry that it's as Tom and Finn have alluded to, it's in negative circumstances, coming fresh off the back of a defeat at Newcastle United on last Friday. We thought we'd get a pod in because the games are becoming thick and fast, and it's going to be a little bit of a wait until we play Burnley, which is frustrating because we want to right the wrongs of that night in Newcastle on Friday. But we're talking about that game. We'll be previewing the Burnley game. We'll be answering your questions, and of course, we'll be having a quiz. So, Dave, let's start with you. Last Friday, Newcastle away. Were you as happy as I was that you didn't make the trip up?
Extremely, to be fair. It was one of them when I was like, I could do it, but can I be bothered? And it's been a point a couple of times this season where it would be that I would have to drive up or get coach up or whatever. I'd literally be in the city for less than 3 hours and then have to get a 5 or 6 hour journey back home. So Brighton was the one that I braved, and I said to myself, even though we won that game, I'd never do a trip like that again, especially on an evening. So I'm sort of glad that I didn't make the trip. So I'm glad to be called a plastic on Friday night, to be fair. But yeah, obviously disappointed. I saw the lineup come out. And so often with Wolves lineups, when it on paper and it doesn't actually look that good, they normally surprise us and play quite well. But yeah, the lineup sort of said it all really. And no Jimenez, no Neves, no Dendoncker, for us to say that, no Podence. Yeah, we missed a couple of the senior guys quite a lot, and just a really, really disjointed and disappointed performance.
Yeah, and I think a lot of fans, when the teams are lined up, they seem to like blow the lid, don't they? Why isn't this player playing? Why isn't we're going to lose this? And I always say, like, make your judgments at the end of the game. But Finn, I don't know about you. Even I was looking at that lineup thinking, oh God, here we go.
Yeah, I guess you guys had. Yeah, you guys must have. What's like the opposite of FOMO? Like happy to have missed out. I don't know, but yeah, it was homo. Maybe not go with that one. Please.
Maybe not. No.
Homo? I don't know.
Anyway, moving on. Finn. Tell me about the go.
Yeah, on the coach. Obviously, you're normally on the coach at the time when the teams comes out, and it was the standard sort of. Everyone, they've all got to have COVID, which was, I think I texted you guys and I said, surely it's all COVID because there's 3 or 4 players out. And it wasn't looking good from then on. I think the only time that front three have started was West Ham away. And I was just having flashbacks again to a very long journey that could end up being pointless. Hoped I wasn't right. And I'm sure we'll get into, that front three might be cursed. And we can't put it all on them, but yeah, not a great day at all.
No, and Dave alluded to plastic fans. Tom, what did... we'll come on to the game in depth in a little bit more, but do you think that lineup, and especially that midfield two, is just another kind of argument to Fosun as to why they desperately needed to strengthen that midfield in January?
Yeah, absolutely. Going into it, looking at the lineup, that was the thing that I was most concerned about, because you're looking at Newcastle that have got a very, very compact but also fluid midfield. You've got Joelinton there, who's good at breaking the lines, right? He's good at driving with the ball, a physical presence in there. So the fact that we didn't have someone in there to at least break up the play, I think for me was a big concern. And then you've got 2 quite small midfielders there in Kundal and Moutinho, who are quite, they're not gonna be a sort of battering ram like Dendoncker or even a Saiss. I mean, Saiss played centre mid for us for a good 2 a good 2 years. And then all of a sudden he's, played centre back, and we haven't really tried him at centre mid. I thought that might have been worth a shot just to, try and plug the gaps a little bit, because Newcastle just had so much space in midfield. Every time we'd get the ball, Kunda would have to drop out wide to receive possession, and then you've got Moutinho in the middle of the pitch surrounded by 3 players, and there was no link between the midfield and the forwards again. So everything was just really like I was saying before, just disjointed, and there was a lack of ideas, and it wasn't helped really by the wingers either. Like when I saw the front 3, I really wasn't excited at all, because
I think I
Hwang and Trincao were just dog.
I agree there, mate. And I said on the last podcast, I want to sign Trincao. I don't know what I was thinking. No, let's not judge it off one game. But Dave,
he's terrible.
Hwang and Trincao, not really Silva, because it wasn't really his fault. He's been lumped up a ball to 6'8" Dan Burn, but Hwang and Trincao, I'd say not at the races, but I think that flatters them, doesn't it, Dave?
Yeah, I think Hwang especially. I've said it quite a number of times. I think bar those early games, he's just been very, very poor for me, and he should never, as it stands, he should never be nothing more than a squad player at Wolves. Just looked anonymous. He didn't want to make the runs. Had no intent to try and get the ball forward. And I don't think that was just Hwang, to be fair. I just think like every time we got that little bit of space on the wing, instead of trying to drive forward and beat his man, it was just always backwards. And same for Trincao, thought the same for Kundal. He had a very safe performance, just kept knocking the ball backwards. And the one move that in particular sticks in my mind was that first half one, where Fabio, with a great switch of play, and I think it may have been Johnny whipped it back in, and it goes to the back post, and Hwang's not even just sprinting to get there. So that frustrated me. And I think Trincao, although I don't think he had a lot of the ball, I think I saw a stat that all bar one of his passes was backwards or something like that. So I think that sort of just shows how disappointing that was, really. And you've got players like Neto. Even if you think Neto's only getting it 50, 60 minutes, start him, because you've got to start him. And the fact that he brought Chem Campbell on ahead of Chiquinho just baffles me, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think Nathan Judah tweeted what's going on. I think I replied to it saying, when Chem Campbell come on, no disrespect to Chem Campbell, but he's a young lad out of the academy. You got Chiquinho on the bench, like you say, Dave. It's almost like they've gone, right, we'll just put your names in the hat, and whoever gets drawn out, you're coming on. It was such a strange game. Finn, what's your thoughts on Hwang? Because to me, he looks like, and from what we understand, he's not. He looks like a player who's carrying a knock, doesn't want to commit, doesn't want to go forward, very safe, very happy just to receive the ball, give it back. It's like Dave said, for me, and I agree with Dave, he should be no more than a squad player at Wolves, and I don't really know why we signed him.
That's the thing, isn't it? There's a few decisions recently where you just think, why? And just because it looked pretty that it was on the same day as, signed number 26 on the 26th, on his 26th birthday. Like, just because it looked nice, you didn't have to sign him 6 months early. I don't understand that. So we should have given ourselves the option. We haven't. He's our player. There's obviously benefits to having, like, we've got the South America player, we've got a player from Asia as well. Wolves are taking that into account, but you can't just sign a player because of commercial benefits. He's got to be delivering, and he was in those first few games. I think everyone realised early on, you could tell, even though he was scoring goals most games, I don't think he's the best footballer, but he's scoring goals. Yeah. And now he's lost those goals, and it's hard to score when you're only directing things backwards. So it's literally impossible for him. And we've seen that sort of player that Leipzig fans were amazed that he was scoring goals with Wolves. And I think it was, 20 appearances for them and 1 goal in the cup. So, yeah, maybe he's regressed to the mean that he was, and it was just a little flash in the pan. We've signed him on that great form. And it's a confusing one, but it does feel like ever since that knock at Brighton, he hasn't been the same player. So maybe he is still carrying a knock, but it's a good few months now, isn't it? So it's a weird one.
Yeah, and we look at the goals that he scored. He scored 2 goals against Newcastle, both, in my opinion, against a team who hadn't won yet, but 2 good finishes, and Leeds one that come off his arse, and then was it Everton that he scored at home?
Watford as well at the start
Yeah.
of the season. That was about
Again,
2
come
yards
off
out.
his arse. Again,
Off his
right place, right
instinctive.
time. You've got to be there. But for me, it's he's just not the answer. And I also see the argument of he sets the defensive standard. He presses well. Against Newcastle, only Connor Cody pressed less than Hwang Hee-chan.
He doesn't press. This is such a
Thanks for
argument.
the views, Wang, but it's time to go.
he
Thanks
just
for
he
walking
doesn't
away.
press. It's such a confusing argument for me.
Silva, Trincao, and Kundal, 23 pressures apiece. Hwang, he's 6. Connor Cody on 2. I mean,
Maybe he's
Campbell
carrying
and
him, I
8
think.
Nuri.
6 pressures.
I mean, that's again you see, and only one of those in the attacking third. Whereas you look at Silva, he's 10 in the attacking third. Trincao, so it's not as if we're setting up to say, okay, well, we don't press from the front. You press once it gets into that middle third. Like you can see from the attackers, Silva and Trincao, that they're being told to press further up the pitch. Looks like he's carrying an injury. I don't know what you or something like that. But Tom, what's your thoughts been on Hwang and the decision to sign him? I know it happened a couple of months ago, but I think it's good to discuss.
It's a confusing one. I suppose if you're looking at the way that Fosun have kind of changed their remit slightly over the past year and a half, 2 years to a more commercial standpoint, you can kind of understand it. But I just think it was strange because, if we're looking at the players that we have signed in January on a permanent from converting a loan, so it was Helder Costa, Johnny, I think that's pretty much it actually, and then Hwang. So you're talking. Let's look at the first 2 players. Oh, Jota as well. Sorry,
Willy Bolly.
Bolly.
Yeah,
No,
there's
Bolly
quite a
was in the
few.
summer. Bolly was in the summer, I think, though.
Are we talking about just in the summer?
Yeah.
January.
I mean, they've all
So
been
talking
loans, haven't they?
January. So talking
Jimenez,
January.
Oh, I know what you mean. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Doing it
talking
before the end of
January.
their load spell. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Johnny, Hwang, Costa, and Jota, I think, are the only ones. Correct me if I'm wrong on Jota. That might have been
Jota was
summer.
a summer one, but
Summer, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the 2 players there, Costa and Johnny, both had been superb. Costa was near enough double digits goals, and this is coming from like a winger. He was literally running the game for us. He was the only outlet we had going forward. That makes sense. Johnny came in, replaced a popular figure in Barry Douglas. Loads of people were fuming that we'd sold him and got Johnny in. Johnny again, superb first half of the season. You could see that there was a benchmark there for him to continue those performances. Hwang, I still can't wrap my head around this decision because he'd scored 4 goals?
to be fair, he was our top scorer. But if you look at the overall,
Yeah, but we don't score goals.
Yeah.
4 goals. I'm sorry, for a top scorer is not good. Even if he was our top scorer, that just shows how bad we are going forward. 4 goals,
we have improved though. Going
13 million on someone who scored 4 goals, and if I'm being honest, doesn't really offer any energy or pace. And he's not that good of a presser. People say he's a good presser. He doesn't press.
We
I
don't
don't know.
tend to press from the front that much anyway. I know that I've said that Trincao and Silva from these stats, and if anyone wants to go and have a look, I'm using fbref.com as a source as usual. I don't think we tend to press from the front that much anyway. We tend to, from what I watch, it's press more in the wider areas. That's almost a trigger. It goes out to a wide player, and then we press unless we're trying to capitalise on a defensive mistake or a misplaced pass. But you're right. It's just it's strange, and we were led to believe that this bloke, the ball, he's got electric pace and he's strong as an ox. But even that, I'm not buying. We just haven't seen. So perhaps it's his versatility, the fact he can play up top in 2, which he did with Haaland at Salzburg, or he can play on the left or the right. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And with Trincao won in Champions League football, which is a laugh in itself. With him leaving Wolves and perhaps Traore leaving, I think there's going to be space in the summer for 1, maybe 2 wide men to come in, and which will knock Hwang, hopefully, I say hopefully, it's quite harsh, down the pecking order a little bit. But let's part the Hwang conversation for now, Dave. Let's talk about this game. What was the game plan to beat Newcastle United? How did Bruno set this team up to go out and beat Newcastle. Because I watched that game the whole 90 minutes thinking, I'm not really sure what I've just watched. I can't identify how we tried to play. I've never seen a team counter-attack like us.
I wish I could tell you. I wish I could say, like, because first 5, 10, 20 minutes or so, away from home, you're not going to go out all guns blazing. You're all going to sit back, just suss out Newcastle, see how they're going to set up and so on. But that seemed to go on till about the 40th minute. We just couldn't get out our own half. Whenever we were getting the possession, we were knocking it about, trying to hold the possession, and Newcastle stood firm. And I think we just really lacked that extra man in the midfield. I think Tom alluded to it earlier. Sace there would have been an interesting option. I'm not going to say it was the right option because we've not seen him play there since, sparingly in that first Premier League season, but mainly that Championship season. But yeah, we just couldn't get our own half. We had a couple of opportunities. The only time we moved the ball quick is, like I said, that chance earlier where Fabio switched the play and got it forward. He started the second half quite brightly, but look, I'm not gonna just slag off our entire performance because I think we did fairly well defensively because Newcastle, bar their goal and bar the one they had disallowed, to be fair, we restricted them to very, very little. But at the same time, we created jack all ourselves, so we can't really say anything. So yeah, I can't pinpoint. It wasn't a part of the bus because we did try to attack, but at the same time, it wasn't a counter-attacking performance because it was just, if it was just far too slow.
The plan was, right?
Yeah, go on.
The plan was, right, draw them onto us.
Yeah.
Kundal, we've got big numbers in midfield, so you come and play at left back off goal kicks for no reason. So just leave Zhao in the middle. Bring them onto us, and then we're going to go hit the big man, Fabio, because they've got tiny centre halves, Newcastle. So what we'll do is we'll draw them in, only pass backwards, bang. Oh, no, he's won it. And then we're going to get one corner in the game, and we're going to play it short. That was the plan. And
was that what Kundal was doing, drifting left?
Well, he stopped it after about 15 minutes. Bruno actually took him to the side and said, right,
he did that
between Kilman and Marcel. It was very
He did that at Spurs a lot, but obviously he was in a free then, so it made sense. But
Metsala.
Yeah.
Yeah,
love that word.
It didn't make sense. And like you said, Finn, it was we'd regain possession, we'd try and counter, it would come in out wide, it'd go back, and it'd go to Bolly or Kilman, and it'll be fuck it, get rid. They'd win it in the air, we won't win the seconds, and we're back to square one. It was pathetic to watch. It was so difficult to watch as a football fan, and obviously having an interest in Wolves wanting to win the game. It was so frustrating. I was like, this season, and I've said this before, I don't know if it's just a part of growing up, but I don't really get that angry at football games anymore. Like I come away from it thinking that was shit, but oh well. Like it's one of those. This one, I was just like, I was like screaming at the telly, like, what are you doing? Like everyone can see what is happening, but it just didn't change, and the changes which we'll come on to were weird. But let's talk about the disallowed golfing. Again, like Dave said, restricted them to fairly little chances, but the two times I put the ball in the net were completely avoidable, and we were masters of our own downfall. Kilman giving the ball away again so cheaply, and they end up getting in behind, and Bolly and Johnny, was it Bolly and Johnny who decided to like make a fucking hash of trying to get the ball away, and Chris Wood's there to tap it in. Like what is going on with that first disallowed golfing? Talk me through. You were there. I can't.
Yeah, I had a great view of it as well. Great tactical view of all the mess ups. But to be honest, it's a bit of a blur. I was convinced it was onside, and I was convinced the penalty was offside. So probably not a career in refereeing for me. But yeah, it was. I don't know what on the first one was it the flick pass that was offside. I haven't actually seen it back again.
It was Bruno Guimaraes. It was offside.
Someone did a nut. Yeah, someone did a
TV angle looked onside, didn't it?
I thought it was onside personally. I thought it looked offside.
It's all about the angles.
But
yeah, well, I was convinced it would be given as a goal. But yeah, it was a mess.
Very cheaply though for that. Very cheap, and then they got him behind really simply, and they score. And you think after that, Tom, I think was it fairly close to 45 minutes? Was it like 30 minutes, something like that? 35 minutes, not sure. So you think, right, you've got away one here. It's going to galvanise us. Bruno will get him at half time, rollicking, reset. This is where you're going wrong. This is where you need to get better. And surely the second half can't be any worse. But Tom, I'm sure you'd be pleased to say that it probably did get worse.
Yeah, no, it's a strange one. We've had a few performances like that this season, which are carbon copies of our issues last season, which was just a complete lack of forward game plan, which is strange because when Bruno Lage was appointed, we all knew that he was brought in to play a more attacking style of football. We've seen that, in the Benfica side that he managed. Granted, it's a much better squad in a worse league. But with the players at his disposal, I still think we can play that style of football. I don't. Yes, defensively we're not that great. In terms of like maybe we could do with some high quality centre backs, as some of the mistakes that we have made this season show. But I think we can still play that attacking style of football. And Neto and Chiquinho not starting for me was disappointing, but again, not helped by just silly mistakes at the back. I agree with Dave, actually. I think the main positive was defensively, we were actually pretty good. I thought Bolly looked fairly solid again. I think he had good moments in possession where he's so calm on the ball. He's able to turn a couple of players, move into space. But then you're looking for a way to transition after that. And I think that's what we're missing with Neves. Every time, every Wolves fan knows, but he's so crucial to the way we transition in possession because he's the one who gets the ball and pings it out quickly. When we don't have that, we're so slow. Moutinho is a wonderfully intelligent footballer, but I don't think he can get those passes off sometimes with the same speed that Neves does. Moutinho is a lot better, I think, at retaining the ball and finding gaps to keep an attack going, essentially. But it's Neves that starts most of it for us. And unfortunately, Kundal, I think, he's a young lad. It's only his second start in the Premier League, and he's not going to want to make a mistake because if he makes a mistake, that's his confidence is going to drop. He just wants to keep the ball, play a few passes, And to be honest, towards the end of the game, I thought he was one of the main players, midfielders, was getting forward into the penalty area, trying to link up play. There was a couple of times where we almost benefited from it, but almost got in the half. Yeah, it was just a strange watch. It was so strange because there was just no real cohesion whatsoever. And I thought Aït-Nouri, I think we were missing his energy a little bit on the left as well. I like Marcel, sort of. He's a hit and miss player for me. But again, he's just slow, just too slow.
I think Marcel's still dining out on that assist at the Villa game. I think. People say he doesn't do anything wrong. So there is that, but you don't want a player who just doesn't do anything wrong. You want players who do things right, and you want players, especially in those wide areas where we're extremely reliant on with our play, to offer something more. Now, the Aït-Nouri situation is odd for me. It doesn't seem like there's something right there because he's not put a foot wrong, but you hear kind of murmurs that he's just, I don't know, maybe his attitude or doesn't apply himself. Was it Cody you said in a podcast? Always late. Similar to Traore, and that's, as a professional footballer, that is ridiculous. You shouldn't be late for anything unless it's extreme circumstances. But I'm not too sure what's going on with that. But Dave, we'll talk about the actual goal here because there's a couple of points we want to talk about. First off, again, we concede the goal through our own mistakes. I think Bolly rushes out, tries to win a ball that he's probably never going to. I think it's Bolly never going to get. Nick it in front, they counter, and then Sarr brings down his man and gives away a penalty for the third time this season, which is a record for a Premier League goalkeeper. And there's still 5 or 6 games left of the season. Talk me through it, Dave. Who's at fault?
Well, obviously you mentioned there Bolly rushing out. And then obviously you've mentioned Sarr having the record for giving away penalties. I saw a lot of people giving Sarr stick for that, which I do appreciate because he's quite an eccentric goalkeeper compared to say Patricio, who used to hug his line really.
Yeah.
But one of the main things, and I saw someone else tweet this, one of the main things, if that's happening 3+ times a season, what you've got to be looking at as well is what is actually happening before it to lead to this chance. And you explained there, Bolly rushing out leads to Newcastle breaking through on goal. Sarr, for me, what else does he do there? I don't know. If he sticks to his line, you argue Wood could maybe get a shot off a little bit earlier. So I think he has to come for it. I think he's quite unfortunate there. The Villa one, I think he was quite unfortunate. The Dele Alli one at the start of the season. So I think all three really. Any other referee, and before VAR, I think they could have gone it either way, all of them. So I think he is unfortunate. But what you've got to look at is the actual incidents leading up to the penalty to see what's actually happened there. So I think he's unfortunate there, but yeah, it's frustrating because I can see why Sarr was annoyed at it, but VAR ain't ever going to overturn it, especially when the referee's giving it on field.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I was irritated by Sarr because and he's been absolutely tremendous for us this season. An argument that he's player of the season, and without him, we would have been in some, on the losing end of some games rather than the winning end. But he almost seems quite rash in his decision making, and if you're coming out like that, you have to be 100% certain you're going to get there before your man, even to just get the slightest touch on the ball. Because if it goes to VAR, they see you've got the slightest of nicks, they're going to overturn it. But if you're not 100% confident you're not going to get there before the man, then for me, you have to come out, narrow the angle, and try and make Wood's mind up for him, try and show him down the line. I know it's easy to say when it's that, it slowed down and stuff, but that's for me what the best thing for him to do there was to come out, put the brakes on, and try and make Wood's mind up for him, narrow the angle, make himself as big as he could. But he rushes out. Everyone said, "Oh, it's a dive, he's a cheat." If it's the other end, if it's Silva doing that, you're 100% asking for a penalty. And like Dave said, VAR is never ever going to overturn that. But if we weren't so slapdashing our play before, then we wouldn't even be talking about it. It would be Finn.
No, yeah. Again, I haven't watched it back because we lost. But I just remember thinking, straight away, pen. The only doubt that I had that it was offside, obviously, because we were at the wrong angle to tell. And you take the rough with the smooth with Sarr, don't you? I mean, his XG prevented his summit in the 14-15s. So if you -3 off that for 3 pens, and as Dave said, they're not all Stonewall pens either. I think we've still got a good deal there.
Absolutely. And this isn't a Sarr bashing. It's just an observation from the 3 incidents.
Yeah. So it's again. I haven't seen it again, and I think my dad watched it and said, "Oh yeah, he's dived." But realistically, I think we were just a bit sore as we got back on the coach head back for another 5 hours. So no complaints really. We take it on the chin, and I think it's what we deserved, which is easier to take, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always going to be a penalty. It's not clear and obvious, and Chris Wood's dangled his leg out and he's waiting for the contact. But as a footballer, unfortunately, that's what you do now, and there's no way, like Dave said, that's going to be overturned. But a real sore one because it was an opportunity for us to keep the pressure on. And you look at results that followed: West Ham not getting a result. Who else? Arsenal losing, United losing. It's almost like, well, if we'd have won then, we would have been right in it. But I don't know. For me, and I don't know if this is a little bit harsh. I don't know what you think, Tom, but when it really matters, I don't know. I feel like some members of the team almost lose the battle a little bit. Watford away, Sevilla, Watford in the FA Cup, Sevilla, the Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge when we needed a point to get Europa League, all that stuff. I don't know. Do you think that some of these players lack a bit of fight and bottle when it really matters, when the going gets tough?
Yeah, I think they do, and I think that's sometimes what can come with a slightly younger squad. I think we're trying to incorporate younger players into the squad this season. I know that our average age, I think, is a little bit higher, maybe, but I think there's just a lack of experience there, and I also think that when you're buying players to build up, they haven't necessarily got the experience of winning trophies or anything like that. So I do feel like sometimes the pressure can get onto them a little bit, and they do play up a little bit too much to the occasion. Having said that, we've won quite a few big occasion games, like the Man United quarter final. That was a huge occasion, and they rose to the challenge magnificently. They have come through tough games before. The City game, 2-0 down, 1-3-2. So there is moments where you can see the fight. I think this season, though, I don't think really there's been much of that. I think that's maybe what's missing a little bit between some of the Nuno moments and this season is that we had quite a few. I remember under Nuno, I'm pretty sure we had like a really good record coming from behind. Or something like that. I can't quite remember, to be honest. It's all a big blur. But I remember us getting quite a few wins coming from behind. And this season, it feels sometimes as though we might, if things start to go a little bit pear shaped, it just all completely crumbles. Like the Leeds game, it's a good example. Things starting to go wrong for the team, players moaning, and then we start making like mistakes and all over the pitch. And I don't know, it's a weird one. I think because this squad's experienced defeats in a semi-final, quarter-final together, and there's not been much change in terms of the personnel. I think that maybe sometimes that can have an effect. But
I'd argue,
overall,
though, you talk about the United game. I think games like that, especially this season, the pressure's almost off Wolves. Like you're not expected to go to Old Trafford and win. Like
I think he was on about the cup game, weren't you, Tom?
yeah, the cup game,
okay,
the FA Cup quarter final. So in terms of like big games, they have risen up.
I'm not saying I'm not going to bottle it. It's just like, but
it's fair. It's a fair question. Because the Arsenal game's a perfect example.
Yeah, I know, Dave, you grimaced a little bit when I asked that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I get what you mean, but there have been big games. Like the Villa game when we 2-0 down, like most teams would just fold then, and we came back and won that game. So there have been occasions. I'm not denying that we haven't, but there are games that you're correct where just haven't almost taken the game by the scruff of the neck enough. And what I always think about is, and this might be, like you said, due to a young squad or even as mad as a nationality thing. When we played West Brom at Molineux last year, how much their players were up for the game, because a lot of them were more experienced. They understood the rivalry in England a lot more.
And they geeing them up, saying this is a massive game for our fans. If you're going to do anything, beat them at Molineux.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. And we've had some great wins this season. We've had some fantastic wins. But there have been games such as Friday, such as the Leeds game, like you mentioned, Tom, such as the Arsenal games, you could say, where just fine margins, and we could just be in a completely different position.
I think this season we're going to look back at the end of it and be like, imagine if if we'd have kept on for another 10 minutes against Leeds. I feel like, I know we've had games where we've not deserved to win, like the Villa game at Villa Park. I think we're going to discount them and be looking at those Leeds games, looking at other games and thinking, God, if we'd have kept on there, even the West Ham game where they were poor, could have got a point there. We may have even been talking top 4, top 5.
And we've lost more games than some of the mid-table, bottom half of the table teams. Like, we've lost a lot of games this season for a team that are in, 8th. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's been a weird old season. It's been a strange season. And I was talking to someone at work about this on Monday, and he said, but if at the start of the season, if someone said you'd have finished 8th, you've just snapped your hand off. And I went,
oh yeah,
well, I would have, but like, expectations change because you as the seasons go on and the landscape unravels a little bit, and teams come in and out of form, and as do Wolves. You almost, I think, if we finish 8th now or 9th, and it wasn't European qualification, I'd be a little bit disappointed. I don't know if you boys would feel the same.
The narrative of the season, it'll be interesting at the end of the season to sort of do a review and maybe even go through podcasts. I kind of want to listen back to what I was thinking, because start of the season, it was, oh my God, if we're going to lose games, we're going to lose 4-3, because it was 4-4-2 and we're going to go out. And I remember the friendly before the season, and Celta Vigo were getting in behind at will, but we were having chances up front. Then there's those first 3 games where we looked fantastic going forward, but no goals, no points. And as you say, it's been a strange season how it's gone. And just going back to that sort of like, it's not like the big games, because you could say like Norwich in the cup, they didn't really turn up, and that could be classed as a big knockout game. But like, it's just the sort of flat performances, like the West Ham away, like Newcastle away, where there's been a chance to finally get into. Have we even been sixth at any point? Have we been seventh at any point? It's that game where it's right. This is the time, and that's been the ones there. And I think, as you say, we'll look back at 1 point off Leeds, who are down the bottom. I know we've got a game against Burnley to come, but only the draw with them. Like Norwich, the draw as well. It's those sorts of games that we'll look back on a very, very weird season.
Yeah, but just going back to the Newcastle game as well, I think I know we've pretty much slated the performance, and I think it does warrant that. But Neves out, Jimenez out, Dendoncker out, which we never thought we'd say we'd miss.
An informed Dendoncker.
We did. Like, as much as Kundal's a young lad, he's very similar to Moutinho. Particularly, I don't think he had a good game at all. I felt like he played it extremely safe, but looking at the stats, his pass completion rate was quite high, and he was one of the most. I think he made the most progressive passes.
Who's that? Kundal.
Yeah, which I didn't think.
You know what? I saw
it didn't feel that way, but
there was a lot of people, and myself sort of included, and on Twitter and on the fans track that were scared to criticise his performance. I thought he was poor personally. But
everyone caveats it, don't they? I know he's a young. Like I have.
Yes, but the same thing is, Matt. The same people that are saying that are the people
like
that
Fabio.
normally Fabio Silva, who is younger than Luke Kundal. Yeah, he's younger than Luke Kundal.
Fabio is a young guy. People, it's the price tag, isn't it? And
it's definitely the price tag. Yeah,
but
Fabio Silva's about
Yeah.
3 or 4 months younger. Yeah,
he's got a goatee, hasn't he?
and a sleeve.
Yeah.
Looks older.
Before we move on to the Burnley game, can we talk about the decision, like the subs? Again,
in the ground.
I didn't really get it.
Losing.
Why did he wait? He waited until like 15 minutes. It's just like it's like Nuno all over again.
One shot on target in was it 80 odd minutes, and it was a snapshot from Silva. He took it well. It's a good save, but
it was a good effort actually.
To see we'd not created anything at all, and still not make any changes. I was just, I think Bruno's done a tremendous job, but stuff like that.
I was going to get my tweet out again. When is this clown going to make a change?
We tweeted that, and we went on to win 3-2. But to bring Neto on, Neto came on, looked our best player in like the 8 minutes he played. But to bring Chem Campbell on over Chiquinho, when all Bruno does is praise Chiquinho's ethic and his application when he comes on, I don't.
The only thing I can think is if it was fitness. Unless it was fitness and Chiquinho.
But if he's fit enough to be on the bench, mate, he's fit enough to start. You know what I mean?
Too right.
Do you think that's what it was, Dave? Do you think it was just fitness, or do you think that he just felt like, fuck it, we're not going to win the game? Chem, go and get your bonus, son.
I don't know. It could be to do with form as well. To be fair, Chem Campbell's done well and he's got good goal scoring form. But what I don't understand the whole Chiquinho thing is that he's had a really strong first half of the season at Estoril. They were doing actually okay in the Portuguese league. And he's come to Wolves and can't get a kick. Well, this is a player that's going to have a lot of momentum, good sharpness, good morale. But like I say, we don't see what happens on a training pitch Monday to Friday. So,
no, very true.
Very true.
Burnley next Sunday, Turf Moor. They play. They've got two games before they play us. They've got West Ham at London Stadium, and then they've got Southampton at home before they play us on the 24th at 2:00. 1 win in 6, I believe, for the Clarets. Looked like they'd turned a bit of a corner when they beat Everton the other night, coming from behind, but then to be humbled by Norwich, who are already on the beach. Finn, it looks like we're going to lose to these, doesn't it?
Yeah, Red Horse hat trick. Yeah, it's written. I don't think I've ever seen us win at Turf Moor, to be honest. Like even you just saying that, then just fill me with and I know we were close in that that Doherty game, the handball, the Mike Dean one. Was that to lose or to draw? It was to draw, wasn't it?
Yeah, draw.
So it doesn't give me good vibes whatsoever. Big striker. Cornet was massively off form at Molineux, but seems to be getting back into things after an injury. So he scares me. Weghorst has been horrendous, but you just know that this is going to be the game. But they've been rubbish, haven't they, Burnley? Everyone said, like, oh, surely they'll escape. They've only won a handful of games, I think. And it's so weird that sort of image of Burnley that you have. But realistically, they've been horrendous. But as you say, yeah, feels like a loss incoming in 2 weeks' time. It's a good one to look forward to.
Yeah, Tom, Burnley's always been a bit of a banana skin for us. I know that was it the 1-1 when we were pushing for Europe again, when Doherty gave away the penalty for kicking Wood in the head, and the 4-0 at Molineux, which lives strong in the memory as one of Nuno's worst moments as Wolves boss. It's going to be a bit of a banana skin, isn't it, Tom?
I don't know. There's no Chris Wood, and so
but he scored against us anyway. So it was
I know. But that's kind of his goal for the season. He probably won't score for the rest of the campaign now. I don't know. It'll be a tough game. I would like to think that we can bounce back, because I think this team has been able to kind of grind things out, get back into winning ways, get a little bit of form, and then obviously we eventually lose 2 or 3 again, and then we win 3 again. It's just kind of, that's the sort of trend. So that makes it Leeds and Newcastle is 2 defeats. So this could either be the game we turn it around, or we don't. So that's the top. That's the top. That's the top analysis there. That
quality insight.
Yeah, Michael Owen levels of insight there. It'll be a tough game. Weghorst, big man. We always struggle against a physical striker. Yes, he's not been very good, but they always seem to turn up against us. Got to start a midfield 3. Have to start a midfield 3 for me. I know it's a bit more negative, but I can't see Moutinho and Kundal as a 2 again against Burnley's midfield. I mean,
I think Dendoncker should be back.
He said Podence and Dendoncker.
Would he be back? It was just illness, wasn't it? Dendoncker, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Moutinho, Dendoncker, I think actually would be all right. I'm still nowhere near the 15 goals, but
he would have got 14 on Friday. Tom, you fuming?
Mate, honestly, he would have ran that midfield. He would have showed Joe Linton what a true box-to-box midfielder is. I think them 2 will be a welcome return. I can't believe I'm even saying that, because I've been a fair critic of Dendoncker this season.
So have I. But he does, especially against it in the Villa game, he gave us something a little bit different that in that Newcastle game we were in dire need of. But Dave, would you go, if Dendoncker, Kundal and Moutinho are all available, do you go with the 3 midfield, or do you go with the 3-4-3 against Burnley?
Nah. Question. I don't know. I would probably go over 2 personally.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're gonna have some physicality in there. Obviously, I watched Burnley's game against Norwich, and it's a bit like Newcastle. They were really set piece heavy, weren't they? Just inside their own half, and they were getting everyone forward and lumping it up. And I think obviously that's what Burnley are going to do. So I think Jimenez will definitely be recalled.
Do you think? The next question is going to ask Finn.
For sure. I think Jimenez.
That's the unbiased one in the room.
Yeah.
I want to see Podence, Neto, Jimenez, I think. So I'd probably go with the 2. I don't think we've seen that yet from the start in a game. And that's what I want, basically.
Podence is top for chances created, isn't he? Is it the over 16, over 14?
Over 14.
Yeah.
Over 14, that's the one. For chances created per 90, which shocked me a little bit, because what do you class as a chance? That's the one next question. What are we classing as a chance? But it's going to be a really difficult game. I feel like I'm going to be making the trip up. I'm actually going to go to a game this time. I'm going to be going, but bad memories really of Burnley. Remember the last time I went, I think we lost 2-0.
So when Dwight McNeil scored.
Yeah, and it was terrible. And I just hope we turn up. I was hoping that we're going to get a reaction from the Newcastle game, but it's like a 2-week wait, isn't it? Like you almost want it the next few days, so you can kind of right the wrong.
If they went down, would you take it on from Burnley?
Dwight McNeil
as a left wing back.
Tarkovsky.
I've always said that.
Tarkovsky's leaving on a free, isn't he? This summer.
Tarkovsky, you got to get him.
Do you know him, Dave? Tarks.
He's not big
Tarks.
Who? Sorry.
Tarks.
Talking about his mate Tarks.
I feel like Ben Foster. What a bloke.
What a player, by
what a legend.
Baller. Rambo. No one's ever called Aaron Ramsdale Rambo.
Oh mate, I almost vomited listening to that.
Oh, he's fair though. He's using his initiative, and he doesn't give a fuck anymore. Foster, he's like, right, I'm retiring at the end of the season anyway. But I'd take Dwight McNeil. I think he could play I think he'd be perfect, really, in
Mm.
the system we play now. You know, when we play with almost like a third midfielder, like Trincao comes in, I think he'd be perfect for that. Tarkowski's not a Bruno player. He's
Like
he wants.
Cornet.
He played as a left back, didn't
Yeah,
he?
very
For,
good,
He's a wing
for,
back. Well.
yeah, he was a
Cornet would be
left
good.
back, and then they've played him as a
He'd
striker.
suit us well. He missed from 2 yards out on Sunday.
Get him in.
Oh man,
I've segued a little bit in. Probably should have talked about this after the Newcastle game, but there was a victory for Wolves last Friday, and it was via BetMate. So Dave and I and Keg and Matty from the Magpie channel, we went head to head in our shared pot last Friday, and there was a forfeit involved. So whoever finished bottom out of Dave and I, Keg and Matty Renton, has to wear a shirt of either Newcastle or Wolves. Obviously, if it's us, Newcastle, has to wear a shirt on the next podcast. And I'm delighted to announce that Keg finished way below Dave, I, and Matty. But Dave, you narrowly missed out on glory, didn't you? You're always the bridesmaid, never the bride, aren't you, son?
Oh, mate, our heads had gone. You know, I looked at it at half time. We're like, we're doing all right here. Made some late changes as well. Took Fabio out for Hwang. Just some, like, you know, some obscure changes. Half time. Well, I was about mid table. 10 minutes to go. Wolves 1-0 down. I'm 50 quid up at that point. I'm rubbing my hands together thinking, wow. I was, you know, I couldn't watch. I turned the app off, went back on, and dropped to 8th. Missed out. I was fuming, but record finish for me in a Wolves game, so we take it.
Just looking now, Keg finished 107th out of 140, which is a shambles from him on 30.
He was at the bottom when he at half time. Was he rock bottom at half
32
time?
points. But mate, I was flying first half. I was like 4th. I was like, it's going to be like me and Dave. We're going to be like European qualification places here. Like we're gonna drop the loot, and I finished 71st. 39.5 points. I had a shocker, really. But
I had some good players on the bench as well. So, like, I was 1.5 or 2 points outside the pay places. So I was devastated, man.
So, I'm more than made up with that. I mean, I thought it was going to be another Matt Cooper masterclass. So, you know that Unai Emery meme, and he's like rubbing his hands. Yeah. Like, yeah, like in that one. Yeah, that's classic. But big congratulations to Josh 1395, who managed to scoop £123 and 12 pence by finishing top on 57.5 points, and then Cap 24 and Wessie M on 54 points, second place, who took a share of £61.55 each. So congratulations to those guys. There will be a pot for the Burnley game. However, because we're not playing this weekend, Wolves obviously aren't involved in the pot. But we are doing a Talking Wolves pot. It's a winner takes all. It's a £1 entry, and it's a mixture of 2 games. Dave and I have picked these out. So it's Newcastle and Leicester, and West Ham versus Burnley. So it's a Talking Wolves. Does anyone even want Europe pot? Of course, it doesn't seem like any of us do, apart from, I reckon, you know what? I reckon Leicester might be an inside shout to pick us.
I've
got a feeling. I've got a
9
feeling.
points behind, 3 games in.
Mate, I'm bricking it now, honestly. If we finish 9th this season, that is atrocious.
Yeah, I've just got a feeling. I've got a feeling they might pick up a bit of form towards the end of the season. But it's a private pot to join this one, guys, and the code is WOL-EURO. So WOL-EURO. And as I said, £1 entry, £50 prize pot, winner takes all, and of course, be gamble aware. Right, chaps. Would you like to do the quiz now, or would you like to take questions? I'll give it. You know, the power is all yours.
Let's do a quiz.
Minutes in.
Quiz. We always ramble. On
Let's
questions.
go.
We do ramble on the questions. So, back by popular demand, it's going to be the guess the player. So, 2 players each. You've got 30 seconds to ask me yes or no questions. If I'm not sure, I will say not sure. Then after your 30 seconds, you'll get one chance to tell me who the player is. If not, it will go to your opposition. So let's start with. We'll start with you, Tom. We'll start with you.
Oh no.
You know, as a guest, we'll make you feel welcome. We'll start with you.
Thank you.
So, Tom, you've got 30 seconds to guess the Wolves player that I'm thinking of starting now.
Was it pre-Fosun?
Yes.
Did you play under Mick McCarthy?
No. Just to let you know, I'll pause it there. This is 2005 onwards. Cool.
There's a 5 onwards. Okay. Oh God. Just testing my memory. Was he a defender?
No.
Midfielder?
No. 10 seconds.
Forward?
Yes.
Kenny Miller?
2000. No. Time's up.
2005. Oh my god, mate.
Kenny Miller did
2005
play under
onwards.
McCarthy.
2005 onwards, mate.
Yeah.
Who's the player?
I completely lost. I bottled that then. I just got. There's so many questions. So many questions you got. He didn't play under Mick McCarthy, and it wasn't pre-Fosu. Oh, wait, Kenny Jackett could have been. James Henry.
No.
It's not.
It's not James Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, you got
I
me.
knew as soon as he said no, I was like, yeah, this is no chance.
Dave?
You said he was under McCarthy, yeah?
No.
Oh, he wasn't.
Oh,
Sorry. I ain't got Skeevy, mate.
which no, it's a forward.
Yeah.
It wasn't under McCarthy.
Random
and-
forward.
Did Kenny Miller even play for Wolves in 2005?
No, he'd left by then.
Saying about memories, like when do you start
John.
getting memories? Because I was 5 in 2005. Do you remember stuff
No, I'm
from
not
being
Freud, mate.
5?
I ain't got a clue.
I've got one. Joe Mason.
No.
Good shout. I've
Finn.
got one
Gladden.
for you. Yannick Sagbo.
No. It was
Ah.
I rant about him on Twitter every couple of months. He just comes back into my memory.
Bakary Sacco. It was Bakary
Again?
Sacco.
Oh, are you taking the mick?
He gave him
He's my
Tom a
favourite
tapping and he
player.
still flopped it.
He was my favourite player as well. That's embarrassing.
Tom, you're going again, mate. You're up again.
Chelsea are 2-0 up.
That's going to be great tomorrow in the morning. Tom, you've got 30 seconds to tell me who the Wolves player is I'm thinking of, starting
again?
from no.
Pre-Fosun? Yes
Yes.
or no? Oh. Was it after 2010?
Yes. No.
Well, it either is or it.
No.
Forward?
Yes. 10 seconds.
McCarthy?
Yes.
Andy Keogh?
No.
Meyerhofer? Was he a
No.
forward?
Yeah.
Oh.
Time's up.
Vokes. Fuck it.
Time's up.
Final
This
guess,
is
Tom.
hard, man. This is tough. I just lose on the spot.
We are exposing you as someone who's raised on the tailcoats of Fosun, mate.
I gotta say,
Matt,
Tom,
I
you're
start-
gash
I
at
s-
this game.
I started following football in 2010. So my memories are very, very poor. I'll be honest.
Could you get a stream at Hogwarts?
Do you know what? There's actually no Wi-Fi, so no.
Is it not? Is it not?
I used to listen to the games on Beacon Radio.
Beacon Radio.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
you
follow.
definitely-
Did we even have iFollow back in the day when we were?
No.
we didn't.
Nah.
It was Beacon,
Wolves TV.
and then it went to
That
WM,
rack
I
of
think.
goals, mate. That was the one.
Iraqi goals. He's goals. CR7 streams. Tom, I'm going to have to press you for an answer, mate.
Get one more.
I'm just gonna have to. They played on them. You said yes for McCarthy, right?
Mick McCarthy, before 2010, striker.
Oh, mate. Striker. Chris Iwal. No, not Chris Iwaluma. That's shocking. Actually, yeah, no, Chris Iwaluma.
It was Christy Malumo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got there in the end. I got the backup players before I even got him. Votes and Keogh. Fucking hell.
Yeah, you take your time.
That's not bad.
It is. Well done, mate. Well done.
That's before I even started supporting Wolves.
Who did you support then?
No one. I didn't get into
Oh,
football
right, okay.
until I was like 10. I played snooker. Yeah. I was into snooker. Until I was like 10 or 11, and then all my friends were like were watching football. So I was like,
Tom was a 7-year-old watching flipping Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Fair play.
Plus, it was sporadically. I played. more
Mark
than I
Selby home and away.
Mark Selby was my favourite player, to be fair.
Oh my word.
But yeah, no, I wasn't.
Ronnie
I
O'Sullivan,
wasn't as much into sports as a kid
dusted
as I was
snooker
now.
player.
So. A lot of them are still the same, to be fair.
It's one of those sports, isn't it? Like you don't have to retire at 33.
Mm.
Dave, I'm going to come to you next, mate.
Sound.
Tell me who the Wolves player is I'm thinking. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Playing under McCarthy.
Yes.
Championship before we got promoted.
Yes.
Forward.
No.
Midfielder.
Can play there, but no.
Michael Mancian.
No.
Good shout.
Can play their defender as well then.
Yeah. 10 seconds.
Ooh. Right back.
Yeah.
Irish.
Yeah.
Kevin Foley.
Ding!
It's
4
it.
seconds to spare. That's the first time well, granted it's only 2 episodes, that someone's got it before the 30 seconds is up. So
Show me up there completely.
well done, Dave.
that is shocking.
Well done, mate.
Oh, good shout.
Do you ready to go again, Dave?
Yeah, let's go.
I feel like you're in a bit of form. Can you tell me who this Wolves player is I'm thinking of in 30 seconds? In 3, 2, 1, go.
McCarthy.
Yes.
Playing the Championship.
Yes.
Attacker.
No.
Midfielder.
Yes.
Um,
Can play there anyway. He has played there.
Defender as well then.
Yeah.
Ooh.
seconds.
English.
Yep.
Oh. Did he play in the Prem as well?
Yep. Time's up.
Play as a defender or a midfielder. It's not Foley. It's obviously not going to be a Kobe.
I'm gonna have to press you, mate. I'm sorry.
Stearman.
Finn.
What were the midfielder or defender?
Defender, played in English, played in the Premier League
And Championship.
Under Mick.
Did you say Mancian, Dave?
That was the first one, I guess. I don't think he played for us in the Champ, though, did he?
It's the only one that I can think played both. I'll go that Mancian.
It's Michael Mancian.
Was it? He played for us in the Champ.
Yeah, pretty sure he played for us in the Championship. And
I
then
thought he was only on loan. In the
Nah, he was only in the Prem, man, I'm sure.
he joined in 2008.
Nah, you flopped there, you know.
2008.
You flopped there.
I was going to say Craven.
Oh, no, I tell a lie. I put my hands up. Yeah, he played 10 times for us in the Championship.
Thank you very much. And then we signed him
Big
again on
shout out,
loan when
yes.
we went up. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If anyone flopped there, I believe it was you, Dave. Finn, you ready to step up to the plate, mate? 2 correct answers here. Put you top of the leaderboard.
Okay. My B Reel's just come up, actually, but it's going to have to be late. Great app.
What's Be Real?
Anyone? It's that one where you have to take a photo. It's a bit of a brand deal, this. It comes up and you have to take a photo exactly what you're doing, like in this minute. And then you see everyone else's. So mine's going to have to be
What do you get? What do you get from that?
What do you get for that? It's just like you see it's like Instagram, so it's like everyone's like story. So you see what like all your mates do in that exact minute. It's meant to be like, oh, it's not fake because you have to like take the photo in that minute, so you can't like
That
stage
sounds
it.
absolutely dreadful.
If anyone wants to add me, no,
Same as any
I shouldn't
social
do.
media, I suppose.
It's
Quite
quite
good.
good.
Shit. Can't see that catching on. Same like Instagram.
It's
stories,
ruined
like
his
that.
ad.
So are you
That's his ad there.
you like paid promotion with those things?
No. One of my mates showed me it yesterday, so I did one yesterday in Wetherspoons, and then today.
Hope it works out. You've got 30 seconds to tell me who this Wolves player is I'm thinking of, starting from now.
Did he play under Nuno?
No.
Did he play under McCarthy?
No.
Ooh, did he play under Kenny Jackett?
No.
Ooh, did he play under Zenga?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Midfielder?
Yeah, can play there.
Winger?
Yeah.
Okay.
10
European?
Yeah.
European. Okay, all right, we'll go with that. European winger under Zenga. Oh, why didn't I just say Portuguese? I hate myself. So who were the wingers? Costa, Cav. Oh, the European.
I've got this, I think.
Hola.
Oh yeah, Ola John. Was Halan that year? No, he was the year before, wasn't he? Jeremy Halan.
Oh yeah. Oh, my
Any
God,
players
yeah.
you haven't mentioned from
That's
that
some
squad?
random players. Isn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't have. If it is Ola John, I wouldn't have thought of him. So I'll just say.
Are we counting British as European?
Yes,
Oh yeah, at that point it was, wasn't it?
I mean, it still is in Europe. It's just not in.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
EU.
we are in Europe.
Oh yeah, great.
We haven't moved. We just started
drifted away.
It was carried away.
Sorry, yes, I'll go Cavallero. Oh no, because you didn't play under Noon. Sorry, no.
You
Can I take
picked
that
it now,
back?
mate.
Okay,
Sure.
yeah. you
Wrong.
played under Noon.
Tom?
He didn't play under Nuno, but he played under Zenga. Okay.
No, I'm an idiot.
João Teixeira.
It's João
Oh,
Teixeira.
Oh,
Shout.
fantastic.
I would have said Ola
Yes,
John,
in.
to be fair.
Ola John. Fair enough. Finn, you ready to go again?
I am.
Right. Maybe use your time once the clock's finished to consolidate your answers. Just a tip. Not the 10 seconds you've got right. I've got 3 answers here.
I know, that's what I do. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to think, what else can I ask? Once I've got nationality, position, and time, I'm like, ooh.
Top tip. Write them down.
For spoilers in the morning, everyone. Chelsea's just scored again.
Oh my god.
Oh, they actually? No way.
4-3 to the boys.
Oh, hang on, I said that ages ago.
No, they're winning now.
Yeah, it's 3-0.
Oh, it's 3-0. Oh, right. It says
Fucking
2-0 on mine.
Sorry. Right.
Finn, you've got 30 seconds to tell me who the Wolves player I am thinking of in 3, 2, 1, go.
Did he play under Nuno?
No.
Did he play under McCarthy?
Yeah.
Did he play before McCarthy as well?
No.
Shout.
Midfielder?
Yeah.
Defend? Oh, so no, it's a yes. English?
No.
European?
No. 10 seconds.
Ooh. African?
No.
What are the other? Mick McCarthy went someone. Oh, I've done it again. I've used the
Tom,
last 10 seconds.
Oh, you're fucking useless.
Tom Parker
actually.
gets this.
Oh,
I'm gonna have a guess, Dave. Have a guess, Finn. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So South America. We didn't really have a South American.
Oh, I know who it is, I know who it is.
Not European. Not African. Australian. I'm gonna say. Mate, who is there? My head as soon as said not European, I went Milias. That's Europe, isn't it? I'm gonna. Oh, I didn't specify winger or midfielder, did I? Like centre mid. I have lost it. I cannot think of anyone.
Tell me a player, or you can talk to yourself.
I can't think of anyone that satisfies the criteria. I can't think of anyone that's not African or European that played under Mickey midfield. I have flopped. Tell me, Dave.
Dave, I'm
Tom,
going
have
to
you got one?
Well,
there's
I
a
was gonna-
tiebreaker anyway, so
I was going to say Frimpong because
No,
he's
he's African,
Ghanaian.
it's not Frimpong.
Segundo
yeah.
Castillo.
Segundo Castillo.
Oh, yeah, come on.
No.
Very good.
Segundo Castillo. I don't remember him.
Ecuadorian geezer, yeah.
Played at
I
Everton.
don't remember him at
Signed
all.
from Red Star Belgrade before going somewhere else.
Oh, he
Deportivo.
played 8
Quito.
games. Oh, my
Hope
days.
you well, Segundo.
He was a big boy.
That was the
That
season
means
before
two,
I
doesn't it?
started.
His name is literally 2.
Mm.
Well,
Segundo
second.
Castillo.
Right, boys, can Dave and Tom, I'll come to you first. Can you both put your hands in the air for me? Both of you put your hands in the air. Thank you. So you're not cheating. And hands behind your head. You're on your knees. No. Tom, you jumped at opportunity. Right. Dave,
That's
Dave.
supposed to mean.
and Tom, I'll start with you, Dave. Can you tell me how many league goals Kevin Doyle scored for Wolves?
$41.
Tom?
Oh, I was going to say 42.
So you're saying
That's
42?
close. Yeah.
Yeah. This week's winner is Dave as a party. He scored 30 league goals for Wolves.
Come on.
Alex, man.
9,
So
5, 4, 9, and 3. Those are his,
Quality.
so, yeah, 30 league goals. Congratulations, Dave. You've won. At least you've won
Thank
something this week.
Yeah.
That's a positive, isn't it? Well done. There's no prizes apart from pride. So we'll move on to the questions now. If you just bear with me while I get the questions up on Twitter. So I imagine we're going to get a lot of conversations about what's happening with Ruben Neves. We've got a question from Joey. Why is Dave so gash at bet, mate? I think we've covered that. Yeah.
You brought Gash back into fashion, Dave.
Absolutely. It's such a horrendous word, but it's so fitting. Andy Hipkins has asked, friend of the pod, is it time to give Totti and Yer some minutes before the end of the season?
I think there's still something to play for, though, at the minute, especially with the
Yeah.
other teams around us losing, which we haven't really mentioned so far. So I don't think so. Yeah, if it gets to a point where mathematically we can't go up or can't go down a place, then maybe. I think they're probably edged towards Totti more than Jerson at the moment, though. That's just me.
Where are you, Tom?
Oh, oh, sorry. Water just went down the wrong end.
Wrong goal.
In some way, I
The wrong
kind of
end.
wish we'd have sent him back to Grasshoppers.
Water went down the wrong end.
Yeah, wrong way.
Drink it, mate.
I have a very unusual way of intaking water, and it's not for everyone.
Sorry, absolute gutter. So what was your answer, mate?
I would say, yeah, go on, give Totti some game time. I think he should have gone back to Grasshoppers anyway because we've just stagnated his progress. But no, that's neither here nor there.
Finn?
Yeah, the only problem is if it is in that situation where we can't move a place, it's most likely to be last game of the season, and I want us to go fully at that. I think that could be a weekend to remember in the Premier League that we could be a massive part of. So you'd think we'll go full strength for that. Man City fans probably won't thank us if we don't. So yeah, maybe I don't even watch the game before Norwich. Maybe that's potential there to give them a run out. But yeah,
no, it's not. We don't know when we're going to play Man City, do we? Yet? So
yeah, cool. Yeah, I suppose.
Definitely going to be a Thursday night that game, though. 100%. Just the way that.
Imagine our last two games of City and Liverpool.
Imagine if we beat both of them.
Yeah,
Mate, that would take Huang hat-trick, mate, I'm telling you. Huang's going to bag a
14 goals in a 14.
Oh, do you know what? If Dendoncker scores against either one of those two, I've got to do something. I've got to do get a tattoo of Dendoncker as the number or something like that.
Like 4 perfect hat tricks as well. Like absolute scene. Josh has asked, with Ruddy most likely to go at the end of the season, what happens with the backup goalkeeping situation?
Chicago Fire bloke.
Sarkic, the lad we've been linked from Chicago Fire.
Get
It's Alan Nixon who said it, so it's more.
I want to see Sarkic play. Sarkic is a decent keeper. Why not?
Do you think he's going to be happy to be back up there?
I mean, where's he been at? What, Birmingham? Anywhere's better than there, right?
Sam Johnston on a free.
He's going to Tottenham, isn't he?
Across the
I don't know what he's dog shit.
Full United.
Going on a free. It's a big loss for West Brom, that.
No, he's wank. James Saxon has asked, are Bruno's late substitutions a sign of a manager gaining experience, or is something that will improve over time? Are we seeing something similar to Nuno, whereby he will always leave subs too late and never really learn when to change a game proactively? Dave, probably the best person to ask because he's the expert in this. By tweeting,
this clown.
Was it 55, 60 minutes? When is this clown going to make changes at the Villa game? And then ultimately did and won the game.
Yeah,
it's a folklore history.
Yeah, I've got it. I'm gonna get it framed.
Get Bruno to sign it.
Yeah. Now, I think it is something I can sort of see. And this is me, even just at a Sunday league level, when you're coaching and things. When the scoreline isn't going your way, but you can still sometimes see on the pitch. As a manager, you obviously watch the game, view the game differently to fans because you've done all the training and you've told them what to do and stuff. So part of me thinks like they're actually doing what they're being told despite losing a game sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, when things are going as badly, like visually you could see we weren't at the races against Newcastle. Visually you could see we were crap against West Ham United. Why aren't changes being made earlier? So I don't know. I think that's something as a manager or as a head coach, that's something that he's got to try and improve on a little bit more.
Lads, what are your pair thoughts?
I think Dave's summed it up pretty well. Go on, Tommy. What you can say?
Yeah, probably, I was just going to say the man upstairs.
Yeah, what
Segundo Castillo? It was a great answer.
Yeah.
I can't believe you got that.
Do you think it's a manager learning the ropes, Tom? With these
yeah. I think it is. He's still early on in his managerial career. Yes, you can say, well, he's won a league title. He's had experience at the kind of the top level of the game. But I think he's still young. He's obviously he's an intelligent guy. He wants to improve along. I think he'll probably improve alongside the squad. But again, there is that lurking feeling in the back of your mind that we have had this problem before, where substitutes are reactive instead of proactive. Maybe it's a Portuguese manager thing. Who knows? But
Right.
yeah, no, I think it's just down to experience. But again, he's been in the game for like a long, a while. Like he started in the early 2000s, so like
Yeah.
it's like
Not as a
like-
manager though, in the
Not
top.
just
in the
learn
top
more
five.
substitutes.
yeah, but it's still in and around football. Like he's not completely clueless. Like you watch a game like that with the knowledge he has, he should be making subs earlier. Really,
I know.
So
I know.
who
He said
knows?
before, like fans need to understand the game, but it was almost a little dig, like, why would I take Den Donker off when he's a real asset in defending set pieces and stuff? But I don't know. I think Friday he got it wrong. Good question here by Daniel Patrick. He said, after watching the game against Newcastle, can you guys explain which has been the poorest performance this season? Which I think we've discussed, and we think Newcastle is amongst that. But also, what has been the best performance this season under Bruno Lage? I would wager Watford at home. But don't make you lads. Everton at home for the first half, 45 minutes. Villa at home first 45 minutes. But the full performance for me is Watford at home.
United away.
United away was a very good performance overall. Very good.
Complete, like good defensively, got the goal, shut out their main threats. I thought Watford. I think in terms of goal scoring, but they gave us at least 2 goals. They were shocking.
I think the United game is the one where, like, visually, you could see that another manager has tweaked how he plays. Like Bruno tweaked how we played to fully tactically outsmart United and Rangnick.
Good
That
up
was
for
the
the
first
CV,
time I saw it,
innit?
and I thought, wow.
Yeah.
And like after the game, his interview just like dissected how United play. And like that was the first time. And it wasn't. I know United haven't been great this season, but they're still a good team. So the way we did that was phenomenal. In terms of poor games, Burnley at home maybe was poor, frustrating, because that felt like a winnable game. Norwich away as well was gash.
What even happened? Burnley at home? I don't.
Nil-nil.
That
Only
game,
nil when
The
when
week.
Adama ran like 60 yards and hit the bar.
I
Yeah,
genuinely
it's
don't
weeknight,
remember
wasn't
that game at all.
Under the lights.
Yeah, it was.
That's weird. That
Was it Tuesday, Wednesday night? Was it?
I don't
Yeah,
remember
it
that
was,
game
yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah, both the Crystal Palace games weren't probably down there as well.
Palace are a good side though. Like I don't mind those ones as much. Yeah, we didn't turn up, but like they've demonstrated this season that under Vieira they are quite a good side. Probably not as good as us, but I don't think that you should be using the same. Should be said in the same breath as like the Newcastle game or the Burnley game or Brentford at home. Probably the worst for me.
That was bad. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shout. Yeah.
Absolute gash. Daniel Lavia. Apologies if I pronounced your name wrong, Daniel.
Daniel Levy.
That's not Daniel Levy. Any guesses on sites for the upcoming US tour? Any ideas on time frame? Sincerely, a Wolves fan in the US. Not heard anything. I think was Russell Jones in marketing. He was over in the US the last 2 or 3 weeks, I believe. So it might be coincidence that he's out there sorting that out. I'd imagine it's probably already wrapped up and it's just a case of announcing it. But best place to find your information is, of course, Talking Wolves, or maybe the Wolves Twitter account. But
I think with that, it's probably they're waiting for European qualification as well. Because if we break it to the 7th or 8th or whatever, you're gonna have all the qualifying games before the season. So that would scupper any plans to the US, I'd say.
Yeah, I can't.
Do you think Fosun would prefer us to? Sorry to cut in, Matt, but do you think Fosun would prefer us to get back into Europe or get that America pre-season tour? I don't know. It's a weird one. Would they? I don't know. Surely they take Europe.
I think your reach for players is better when you're in Europe. So surely that's got to be a game.
I don't think they're going to reap that much commercial benefit from going out doing a tour in Europe compared to even the Conference League. Like, I think you get
massive money there. Is it?
No, but like you get 3 million for. I think it's 3 million for qualifying for the group stages or 1.5, and then you can get another 3 million or 1.5. I can't remember, but you can either, if you do well in the group stages, you can yield between £3 and £6 million. But then you also get prize money based on UEFA. Is it the ranking system?
Yeah, the coefficient.
Yeah, sorry. So you also get money for that. So if you're bottom, and then say you're one place above bottom, you get double what they get, and if you're 2 places above bottom, you get double what, it's like it kind of doubles over. So there are benefits, and like Dave said, you pull for players, you pull for bums on seats is going to be much greater with a European tour, with European football.
I want to watch Ruben Neves one last time in Texas, mate. Wherever they're
It's got to be Miami, surely.
And then we've got a game away in Slovenia,
I think it'll be
3 days later.
Yeah,
I think it'll be West Coast and down south.
Mr. Miami shows us around.
Across the border.
His ends.
Scraping the barrel now. No wonder they've sacked off that series.
Oh yeah, they have, haven't they? Yeah, I've noticed they've stopped doing those.
Have they?
Mm.
You get a lot of stick.
Didn't notice.
No, I didn't. I'd do one of those things. It doesn't really bother me. So people get really irate about it, but one of them things. Sam James has asked, we assume Bruno wants to change to a back 4 in the future. Where does this leave Cody? Leadership's qualities too good to drop? We've discussed this quite a lot, but there's no guarantee that we are going to go to a 4 large. Go on, Sam. Sam? Who the fuck, Sam? Dave?
You look at, for argument's sake, the game on Friday. We really lacked a new central midfielder, so I think that's a perfect.
Oh, fuck off, Dave! Not having this again.
Move into a half back.
Cody into fucking roles, man. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with
mate.
That
Cody.
To be fair, we say he can't play in a 4. We've only seen him play in a 4 a handful of times, haven't we?
But we'd have one bad game in a 4, and it'll be like, get him out, he's shit. Whereas if it was like Bolly or Kilman, it would be a different story.
Yeah, because I know when I spoke to Newcastle fans last week, they said the same. I know he's not world class, but Fabian Schär, they used to play a 5, and they were like, Schär can not play in a 4. And when they actually swapped him, he was all right in a 4. So I don't know, but I still feel if we need to make this next step up, if we want to be challenging and consistently for the top 6, that is one of the areas we really need to bolster.
Lads, what are your thoughts? I've got a couple more questions on the Instagram next. But what are your thoughts on Cody if we want to go to a 4?
Yeah, no, kind of the same, really. It's his leadership qualities. It's a weird situation, really, because I think he's too good of a leader to drop because he's such an important communicator. I think he could certainly play in a 2. I mean, he'd have to get used to it, but I think he's improved a lot this season. And he's certainly looked more solid. He's looked more physical. If he can be a bit more combative aerially, which I think he has been this season, I don't see why he can't do it. Obviously, there is risks there, but yeah, I don't know. Might as well try it, see what happens.
Yeah. Question here from Jacob, and this is how he's wrote it out. And I'm not trying to put on the accent. If you told you can get Peña and Mateusz Nunes from Sporting for what you sold Ruben Neves, would you take it? Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sorry, what was that? Peña
in English. So if you,
yeah, the Portuguese kind of threw me off. I'll be honest.
If you could bring in João Peña and Mateusz Nunes for what you sold Ruben Neves for, would you do it?
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah. Emotions aside.
Well, that's one thing. If Neves is sold this summer, just wait and before you go ballistic, just wait to see who they sign first.
Yeah, because I think they'll probably sign someone there before he goes, won't they, to soften the blow?
See what Martin, the Sun said we're going to sign Martin Neto on a free as his replacement.
Yeah. Come on, mate. Honestly, Chernobyl Wolves would be like.
It would go off. Bruce Mercier has asked, Vinicius at Benfica appears to be available. Should Wolves look at buying him?
Who's that? Carlos Vinicius?
I'd imagine
he's on loan,
Vinicius.
He's at PSV. He's got to PSV.
He's got a 2-year loan there as well. I'm sure it's a 2-year loan.
That's put scuppers to that plan then.
Well, he appears to be available according to Bruce.
It's a good name. I like Bruce's name, Bruce Mercer.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think.
It sounds like a WWE announcer.
Just a little bit, or a referee. A referee.
Yeah.
I'd have him. Second choice. I think now at this point, because of sort of no disrespect to him, how his career has sort of gone down a little bit, he'd be happy to play second fiddle to Jimenez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evan has asked, are we signing Pedrino from Shakhtar in the summer? I know that there's reports and we've reported it on Twitter that it was almost a done deal in, was it February, Dave? Outside of the transfer window to sign him because of obviously the atrocities going on in Ukraine. But the Premier League blocked it. I know that the Premier League blocked moves such as Victor Moses going to Burnley. So do you think, Dave, that that's something they'll try and agree in the summer again, or do you feel like he may go back to Brazil?
I don't know how it works, because I'm sure that Ukrainian and Russian clubs were given a deadline to sort moves out for, and I think the deadline has passed, or it's very, very soon. So I think he'll go back to Brazil, whether that's just on loan until the summer, and Wolves can look at it then. But I don't know. I wouldn't hold your breath.
He was a big fan of Large. Is a big fan of him, though, isn't he?
Well, yeah, Large made Benfica aware of him, and they signed him. Although Large had gone, Large was the one that sort of initiated all the transfer for him. So it's clear that he's a fan of him, but how he fits into the Wolves system at the moment, I don't know.
Just on Carlos Vinicius, by the way, he's on loan until the end of the season, and then he's got 2 years left of his current deal at Benfica. He's not really set the world alight this season. He's got 7 goals in 30 appearances. So
get him in.
Not great. 7 goals, 7 assists in 29 in what you'd like to say a farmers league. But yeah. And one last question, just to finish. What's your go-to food and drink at Molineux?
I saw that question.
Mine is a chicken balti pie and a pint of Carling.
Yeah, mine's a balti as well, balti pie. But I very rarely eat or drink at the ground. To be fair, so if I'm having food, it'll be a balti pie. Yeah.
And you drink?
What about a Bovril, mate? Not had one for years. I do like a Bovril. Normally it's a bottle of Pepsi, to be fair, but a bottle of Coke now. Change suppliers. But now I do. I've not had one in years, but a big fan of a Bovril, to be fair.
Just on Bovril, and I'm going to sound like world's biggest scruff here. I have Bovril at home quite frequently, and I like to put a bit of Nando sauce in the Bovril drink.
What?
Wait, which one though?
What? Which Bovril? Which Nando sauce?
Which Nando sauce?
Medium.
Right.
Medium. Yeah, I put a bit of medium Nando sauce in, and also black pepper and garlic granules.
All right.
And it gives a little bit of a kick to it, but I know I'm going to get absolutely lambasted in the comments for that.
So what does a sauce add? Just a bit of spice to it?
And a little bit of spice to that.
Yeah,
that was good, actually.
It adds a bit of spice to it, mate. So I enjoy that. Finn,
don't knock it till you try it.
Think it's a 3-course meal. It is match.
You don't.
Not a free drink.
We haven't discussed WV1 absolute feud for quite a while. So what's your go-to in WV1, mate?
I don't. We go to grill it. Sorry, another sponsorship. But if I'm eating, I go to grill it on the outside, and then hot chocolate on the inside if I'm having a hot drink. But I've had some duff ones recently. Where there's like a proper clump of
the lumps at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's
hella powder.
Shocking.
So if not, it's a Coke. But I don't really eat inside the ground, to be honest.
Those lumps in the bottom of the hot chocolate looks like the content of my boxes when we go into the last 10 minutes trying to defend the league.
That's awful.
That is rough, man.
That is poor. That's God.
Tom,
thanks for watching, everyone.
it's all, mate. This is like an hour and a half. This is a bumper podcast.
That almost tops Sweaty Men.
It is. Oh, thanks for bringing that back, Tom. I almost forgot about that. Tom, when you do frequent Molineux,
who's your favourite sweaty man?
Yeah, what's your go-to food and drink? Are you vegetarian, Tom?
No.
I don't know why I think you're vegetarian.
No, I could never be vegetarian. Me, I love meat.
Favorite food and drink at Molineux.
There's a burger van opposite the Billy Wright on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
It's like white with like the red lettering. I can't remember the name. I apologise. But your food is great. So every time I go, I get a burger there. Cheeseburger with onions, ketchup.
License to grill.
like just a grill. Oh God, I've had enough. Right then, chaps. Thank you again. Apologies to those who have had to get through this. It's been quite the podcast. We'll probably be back now after the Burnley game, I'd imagine, to dissect the loss.
Hey, positive, man. Let's keep positive.
No, I think we'll go there and get a result. I do. I think we'll have to bounce back. I don't think we can turn into the same performances again. So I've got faith in the boys to go to Turf Moor and trying to right the wrongs of the Newcastle game. Dave, thank you again for your time. Where can people find you should they wish?
Yeah, no problem. It's Dave as a party on Twitter and Instagram.
Finn, where can people find you should they wish?
Finn is Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Add me on Be Real. No, please don't. No, please don't.
Oh God. We get Talking Wolves Be Real sponsorship.
Tom, where can people find you should they wish?
Mainly Twitter, to be honest. Tom_Parker12.
Lovely stuff. I am M Cooper Wright on Twitter and also Matt Cooper Bites on Twitter and YouTube. And if you are a fan of Matt Cooper and Dave as a party, then make sure you tune into Matt Cooper Bites on Sunday or Monday because Dave will be featuring on Matt Cooper Bites at Builder's Arms from Dave's first ever mixed grill. So I cannot wait for that.
Wait, you've never had a mixed grill?
Never had a mixed
People can't believe it.
I thought you would have.
I'm a big fan of meat and all. So.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You should follow my Instagram page.
Oh God, Dave, can you sign off the show, please? Before
Of course, I can. Thank you, everyone, once again for listening. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube, and leave us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. But yeah, until next time, fingers crossed the Wolves get a win over Burnley, and we'll see you all very, very soon.